Guys, welcome back to Southern Extreme TV. Just got done filming a review for my new lightweight turkey hunting pack that I've been using this season. So stay tuned, that video is going to be coming. If you guys are in the market looking for a new badass turkey hunting lightweight pack, stay tuned because I've got an awesome product review coming from you guys from Alaska Guy Creations. It's on my back, it's on my chest, awesome product. So, but for now, we're talking turkey hunting tips, baby. I love doing this type of video. I love trying to help you guys out and love trying to help you guys put more birds in the back of your truck. So we are talking about a very, very difficult subject today. How to call in and kill a henned up gobbler. This is by far one of the most aggravating and stressful things that a turkey hunter can endure. A bird that has a bunch of hens that is doing nothing but gobbling his brains out, strutting, just acting a fool, but will not gain an inch on you. And this by no means is a foolproof method of killing a henned up gobbler, because Lord knows I have failed a lot more times than I have succeeded trying to kill a gobbler that is locked in on some hens. But there are some things that you can do to try to be a little more efficient and to be a little more successful. And I'm going to talk about a couple of those things today. First of all, the one thing that you can try to do if you have a hen or a group of hens that is with a gobbler is try to call that hen in. And I know that that sounds a little weird because mainly you're hearing all these people make these hen noises to try to appease to a gobbler or a longbeard to try to get him to come to you. But you got to remember, that gobbler is following those hens. If those hens go and jump in the ocean, there's a good chance that that tom's going to go jump in the ocean with them and figure out what the heck they're doing. So with that being said, if you can figure out what strikes a nerve with those hens, and particularly the lead hen, if you could figure out that lead hen and figure out what she doesn't like to hear, and what I mean by doesn't like to hear, what really pisses her off, because every dominant hen, there's just a noise or there's a call that just sometimes fires those hens up. And if you can figure that out, a lot of times you can get that hen to come to you and in turn get that gobbler to follow that hen straight into gun range. So what I like to do whenever I'm trying to call in this hen is a lot of times I try to listen to those hens. Now, sometimes this is difficult because not all the time are these hens communicating and talking back and forth. A lot of times these hens are silent, but in the situation that you can get that hen to yelp or to putt or to purr or whatever the case may be, copy that hen. Whatever that hen does, you do it, but do it louder. Do it more aggressively and do it louder, because what that will do is that will try to tell that hen that, hey, you ain't the dominant hen here, sister, I am. And that hen's gonna say, oh, well, listen here, no, I'm the dominant hen. And then you start back and see, there you are. You're already starting back and forth and you piss that hen off, and that hen's gonna come over and say, listen, I'm gonna come over and I'm gonna tell you who's the boss hen over here. And guess what? She comes, that gobbler comes right behind him and you shoot him right in the daggum face. It doesn't work like that all the time. Obviously, if you got a hen that's fired up and yelping, it's a lot easier to determine what's really gonna set that hen off. If that hen is locked up and isn't really speaking much, typically I try to just forget that that longbeard's there. I try to only focus on that hen because I know that that hen is my ticket to killing that gobbler. So I will try several different calls, several different sounds, different pitches, whatever the case may be, to try to get that hen to perk up and pique her interest and say, that sounded kind of funny. I didn't really like the way you sound. And then maybe she starts yelping or putting or whatever the case may be. And then once you get her started, then you can start copying that hen and getting louder and more aggressive with that hen and try to get her to come over and commit and drag that gobbler with you. So that is step number one on how to kill a gobbler that is henned up. Try to call that hen in, try to piss her off, try to get her to come to you, and try to get that gobbler to follow that hen. So step number two on how to kill a gobbler that is henned up is waiting him out. This is probably my least favorite option, but more than likely this is the more successful option of the two. And the reason being, a lot of times here, especially in my home state of North Carolina, our season comes in really late in comparison to some of the southern states around us. So a lot of the hens that are with these gobblers when our season comes in have already been bred. So these gobblers are just still with these hens first thing in the morning. When they come down off the roost, they're strutting, they're with these hens, and then these hens are like, I don't care about you, I'm gonna go lay on my nest and I'm gonna go lay on my eggs. So what you find is right around that 9:30 to 10 o'clock mark, this big old gobbler is strutting and he's following these hens around, and all of a sudden these hens just start diving off into this cutover or some thick stuff. And this gobbler's like, well, what the heck's going on? I don't want to go in there because I can't strut in there. It's too thick. Sometimes you have them birds that's going to follow them hens no matter what, and there's nothing really you can do about that. But a lot of the times, whenever those hens leave and go into that thick stuff, that gobbler will be kind of left there like, what the hell do I do now? I lost my hens. Now I'm in this weird place with all this thick cover around me. So he'll start gobbling, and he'll start gobbling his head off, and he's like, oh God, I've lost my hens, I've lost my hens, where are my hens at? And at that point, if you can have the patience enough to wait out that longbeard for his hens to leave him, and when he starts doing all that funky, crazy gobbling, and you can lay into him with a little soft yelp just to let him know, not a real aggressive, hey, I hear you gobbling, hear me yelping type of call, because sometimes if you do that, that gobbler will stay there. He won't come to you. But if you kind of make some feeding yelps, like you're just a hen kind of moseying along, kind of doing whatever the case may be, then you've got a chance that that gobbler's going to freak out and he's going to take off running and try to come find you and say, okay, where's this other hen at? Watch me strut, hear me gobble. And I've killed more birds doing that right there than probably any other form of turkey hunting ever. That's even shooting them like just straight down off the roost as soon as they pitch down. That can be very aggravating here in North Carolina trying to do, but I would say the majority of our birds are killed between 9 and 11 o'clock here in North Carolina, just for the simple fact that our season comes in so late and those hens go to lay and they just leave them gobblers there hanging out. And that's the way that it is. So with that being said, that is step number 2 on how to kill a gobbler that is henned up. Step number 3, which is the last step, and this is kind of it doesn't really count, but it kind of counts, and you have to be able to get in between those hens and that gobbler. And what I mean by that is if you can get in super early, figure out where those hens are roosted and where that gobbler is roosted at, because a lot of times those hens will roost in a different, not a big different area, I'm talking a different area as in, they could be 50 to 100 yards apart. That's the gap that I'm talking about. But a bulk of your hens will roost in 1 or 2 trees, and a lot of times your gobbler will kind of roost off by himself. If you can get in between those birds without them busting you, that is the key. Without them busting you. That means you have to get your hind end in there in the woods, set up, not making a noise, early, like an hour before daylight, an hour before that bird is even thinking about those hens in that tree, and sit there and wait. Because what that bird will do is when that bird flies down, 9 times out of 10, that gobbler will be the first bird down out of the tree. He knows where them hens are at because he's there with them every single day. He heard them fly up, he's seen them fly up, he knows what tree they're in. When he pitches down, he'll either pitch down straight to you, not knowing he's coming to you, or he'll pitch down somewhere in the vicinity. Now at that point, what you can do is if he's just out of sight to where he can't see you, you can mimic a hen flying down with a wing or a ball cap or whatever the case may be, and then give him some soft yelps, and he'll think that one of those hens that was in that tree has flown down and is now at your location, and he's gonna come over and say, all right, here we go, here's me strutting, here I go. But the issue with that is a lot of times those hens are jealous. Those hens can be really, really just frustratingly jealous. And as soon as you start yelping and letting that gobbler know that, hey, I'm a hen, here I am, those other hens know that you're not a part of their group, and they're gonna start answering you back, and they're gonna be pissed off, and a lot of times they will fly and go the opposite direction, and they will carry that bird away, because let's be real, a live hen versus your decoy or your calling, you're probably gonna lose that battle every single time. But that is a third step and a third way to potentially kill a bird that is locked in on some hens and is just being stubborn as heck. Those 3 methods, if you take those 3 methods right there into this turkey season or the next turkey season, and you start trying to implement that, you are going to be more successful. Now, by no means am I telling you that these are foolproof methods, but when it comes to gobblers that are being henned up and are difficult to call in, those 3 steps are probably the most successful steps that I have personally had. If there's other steps out there that maybe I've looked over or missed, please let me know. Other than sitting there waiting on them to come back to the roost, I guess that's an option as well. If you know, if you know where them birds are roosting at and you know what direction they're coming from, you can go and set up and just basically deer hunt them and let them come to you. I'm not a big fan of that. I'll do it if I have to, but that's not really getting that bird to come to you off of that hen. That's really just sitting there waiting on them to come to the roost, which is an option. So I guess you want to call that step number 4 of how to kill a henned up gobbler. If you know what tree he's sleeping in, then you can get in between where you know he's at and where he wants to go and just sit there and let him come to you, and don't make a sound, don't call whatsoever. So I guess technically there's 4 steps if you want to call it that. But those 4 steps right there, if a bird is locked down with a hen, those are your best chances on trying to get that bird into gun range or to bow range for that matter. So hopefully this video helps you guys. I hope you enjoyed today's video. This is a very informative video. This is probably, in my opinion, one of the most informative videos that I've done as far as how to kill turkeys. So hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button in the top left corner if you're new to the channel. I'm trying to grow this thing to 100,000 subscribers. So every click of that button means the absolute world to me. And I can't thank you guys enough for taking time out of your busy day to hang out with me here on my channel. Be sure to stay tuned. I've got a lot more videos coming up for you in the future. And hey, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.